Up front. Doesn't mean you always stay there. It's clean through, but Palou is falling all the way down. Now McLaughlin challenging Foster.
7 cars off track as David Malukas loses it and is into the beach, and that will likely leave him there. I seriously doubt he'll be able to get going as the caution comes out for Malukas' stranded car. Does a good job getting it outside of Graham Rahal there, who was in the second red and white car back, but then just outbrakes himself. Maybe got a little squeezed over and got on the white line with the left sides, but either way, contact in the back of Christian Lundgaard. As we ride on board with Rahal, that's Malukas just to the front, to the left. Watch.
Yeah, just goes in with too much speed. You see the front lock up, and he gets into the back of Christian Lundgaard. Kevin, understand there might be some damage.
Well, let's listen to the 7 radio and see what they've seen.
Oh, big one.
Schwartzman.
That's Robert Schwartzman
Turn
in the
12.
Wonder if he had some help.
Kirkwood, the heaviest braking. Oh, he's just lost it under braking, hasn't he?
Yeah, that one looked like all on his own. Some rear lock. Overcorrected.
Important place.
Oh, that's a big one for Stingray Robb.
Boom, the 77 Goodhart Chevy into the tires, concrete wall first. You see the driver moving in the cockpit.
I'm so sorry, guys. What are we doing here?
Down in turn 5, one of the fastest parts of the racetrack.
I don't know what that was.
Be interesting to see what led up to that. I'm imagining contact with somebody.
He's apologizing to the team.
He was in a fight with Scott Dixon and Devlin DeFrancesco at the time that it took place. Have a look on board, courtesy of Goodhart. Oh.
Again, some rear locking. Oh, just a tremendous amount of
I
impact.
wonder if Malukas was saving a little fuel and he got surprised there. It's a little bit like what happened with, oh, it wasn't Malukas, that was Marcus Armstrong. I wonder if it's a bit like what happened with Malukas on the start, losing the back of the car. It's an awfully fast place to lose control, almost 190 miles an hour as we take another look.
Yeah, you might be right. Maybe Malukas lifted a little earlier than Stingray was expecting, and the combination of turning to avoid the 4 while on the brakes can upset the back of the car.
I think it was Armstrong.
Oh, sorry, yeah, Armstrong,
yeah.
So,
and remember what we learned on Friday in practice is the drivers were manually trying to also recharge hybrid on the straight before the brake zone into that little cresting moment. But either way, something horribly mistimed in the exchange there, and good to see Stingray able to climb out. Who's crushing it? Learn everything you can.
That's Connor Daly in the 76.
It's not been a good day for Connor Daly as he goes skidding off into the gravel trap in turn 5. And he is stuck.
Beached.
And what does that mean caution-wise? Full course caution.
and this benefits the guys that just pit, as we see what happened there, just unable to slow the car down.
That was a bit Will Power-ish in terms of the move he put on Kirkwood earlier. In this case, Connor had a gravel trap to meet him, and there's just no way to get unstuck.
So Daly in the barriers, and we are back under caution at Road America. Just when you thought you'd seen it all in motor racing, a car has developed a tail. Welcome back to the XPEL Grand Prix at Road America live. The amazing AMR safety crew were able to get Connor out of the gravel trap. Connor didn't realize that they hadn't disconnected the tow rope, and he's made it back out on track.
It is a fast guys win racetrack, and I love it for that as Power continues to hold the gap as he spins.
Will Power just overcooks it on the exit of Canada on the run up the hill. He's had more incidents at that corner today than anybody, most of them with Kyle Kirkwood. That one all on his own.
No contact, so the car should be okay. I didn't see anything that would suggest he's going to have any damage. So pretty big loss there, but not as much as if he would have clobbered the inside wall.
For the second race in a row, it looks like Joseph Newgarden's day is done. This one entirely self-inflicted. Turn 14 has been catching people out all the way through this weekend, but here on board the car, he seems to have a bit of an issue, just raising his hand out of the car.
Yeah, just to cool himself down, but this is just flat losing it wide in turn 14, that left rear dropping off that paved exit section. And I thought he would be okay until he got into the tires there and hit quite a bit harder than expected. A lot of water sitting over there too, but the left rear, broken toe link, broken rear wing.
Suspension completely gone, as we saw from the onboard.
We talked about how turn 14 had been a challenge all weekend long, and this was one of the things we've seen. You get wide, the car sometimes bottoms out over the curb, and if you're already kind of catching a bit of a loose moment, it can just send it around, and unfortunately went all the way to the wall. The 2 crew trying to go at it, trying to replace the damaged suspension. And you just look at some of the issues that Newgarden has had. Seatbelt in Long Beach, fuel pump on the way to a strong result at Indy, leading in St. Louis, collected in Foster's crash, just going from bad to worse.
If he retires from the race, it'll be his 5th DNF in the last 12 races.
Wow.
His worst stretch with Penske, and his worst stretch since 2014. But this was a weekend when it could have all come back Penske's way. They looked fast. They locked out the podium this time last year. We've seen Power spin under his own steam. Newgarden now spin under his own steam. Penske's season, well, it doesn't go from bad to worse. It stays as bad as it has been. A truly horrible season for Penske. That is Christian Lundgaard. We also saw Carl Kirkwood going off as well. I do not know what has happened because it was behind the trees, but that is huge.
These two were running as...
Oh, it's with Herta. So Herta side by side with Lundgaard. There's no contact. Lundgaard just gets over the bumps, lights it up, and loses it on the way up the hill, and that's what caused Kirkwood to go off to avoid him.
On board here with Colton Herta.
He just juiced it too much.
Christian Lundgaard just hit a massive bump out so wide on the runoff there. As we're right on board with the 7, we should be able to hear a pretty big hit in the runoff. Let's listen.
Yeah, similar to the Newgarden situation. So lucky to not get collected by another car there. Nice and late on the brakes, like you say, no contact. And then as he gets on the gas, right as the car was bottoming out, there's just nothing you can do.
Tanked it.